Broadcasting worldwide through internet, satellite, AM and FM stations across the nation. Sponsored by SurvivalistSeeds.com, PatriotFood.com, and StriderRides.com. It gets a little rough from here on. This is Don't Tread on Me with Big John Lipscomb and Professor Jeffrey Grubb.
Okay, so you're not an idiot. You are pretty well prepared. You've got your dehydrated food stock. You've got your beans, bullets, Band-Aids, your garden seeds, and you think you've got the skills and the leather tough skin to last out a battle with the New World Order. But have you figured out exactly how you're going to live? Because you're probably not going to be able to stay exactly where you're living now, folks. You're going to have to migrate. You're going to have to move. You can't just shoot it out from home. Now, some of you, I'm sure, are going to do that. But there's a time and place for that, and I think for most of us freedom fighters, we're going to do as most freedom fighters do, and that is when our nation is invaded, we are going to go to the woods, the hills, the mountains, the deserts, and draw them to us and take them out there. We're going to talk about underground houses tonight. For the first hour, and if you have some ideas as we start tossing around some thoughts about it, you can call the show. It is 877-342-6673, and let me also remind you that you can instant message me. Last night I had a record number of instant messages. It was just shy of 40, I think. So I appreciated that. And you can do so at BigJohnLipscomb@yahoo.com. Just sign up for instant message service. It takes about 10 seconds. And I'll get a little box on this end, and I'll press yes, and then we'll be able to communicate. And you can give me questions or thoughts, opinions. Tell me how terrible this radio show is if you want. But while you're doing that, folks, let me introduce my co-host. It is Professor Jeffrey Grubb. Jeff, how's it going today?
It's going great. Absolutely great. We have incredible weather here. It was warm out and rainy, and I really like that kind of weather here in Indiana.
Oh, dear. Hey, you know, I was thumbing through the new issue of Republic Magazine, and there you are on page 22. You've got an ad in there for antimatterradio.com.
Yep.
Really sharp ad. They did it in a light green. Did you design that, or did they?
They did that,
Wow.
and I told them what colors to use and so forth.
Wow. That's really nice. Yeah, it lists the different topics that you talk about on your own individual radio show that you do every day, right? Monday through Friday?
Yeah, every day, and the topics it's pretty intense, like this show. And today was on expanding Earth, and tomorrow is on the locked, L-O-C-K-E-D, areas of human consciousness, the ones that we can prove exist, but we don't have any access to, or we can't be aware of them, but we know they're in there, these incredible abilities and things that we have, like reverse speech and whatnot.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun.
Are you saying that we're permanently locked out, or are we just temporarily locked out, or have we just lost the key and we need to look around?
Well, it appears both. It appears some abilities, some abilities, if we appear to be completely locked out from ever being aware of how we do them, what's involved. The best example is reverse speech, and this is, of course, all the academics, ignore this. But if you go to antimatterradio.com, I think it was in January, I can get the exact date, when we did the first reverse speech show. Basically, all that was that was the first in 3 shows we've done on it. The 4th one is probably coming the week after next week. And that first show, we just laid it down as showing that this stuff is real. This is an empirical science. It's just, and there's no messing around with it. There's no, coincidence involved. And I've heard people say, yeah, if you talk long enough, eventually you say something in reverse. It's not like that kind of a phenomenon. I mean, that can happen, sure, but that's not what reverse speech is. Reverse speech is this astounding ability we have to say things in reverse. Kids do it. Dyslexics do it. Sometimes autistic children do it. And people like you and me, you're just the average person, does it.
Yeah.
And one of the most amazing examples is President, the tyrant-in-chief, Barack Obama. His campaign slogan was, "Yes, we can." And some of your listeners might know this. I've done several shows on this and have a pretty popular YouTube video I made about it. Yes, we can in reverse, whether Barack Obama says it or anybody says it, is "Thank you, Satan." If you go to your computer and hit the start button and go to the sound recorder, open it up and say, "Yes, we can," and then hit reverse, go to effects and hit reverse and play it, it will say very clearly, "Thank you, Satan," in reverse. And this is just one of the examples of how our speech involves reversals. And that's just one example. It's just absolutely an amazing thing. Now, it's not just that speech involves reversals. It often is in the way you say something. You can say, with little idiosyncrasies in the way you say a word and whatnot, will lead to reverse speech coming about in certain contexts. And it's just, now the point is how, where does this incredible, brilliant talent come from? And you can prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, as I did on the Antimatter radio show, that the reverse speech comes from a very deep part of us that really reveals true aspects of our deep feelings. So it's very different than our forward speech, which is just about, I call that the egotistical speech. It's all about, just our day-to-day life, our personality.
Sure.
But the reverse speech is very soulful, very deep. It's about our deep inner feelings. And so we have this ability, and we don't know how if you look inside yourself, go and sit in the closet and examine your consciousness, your feelings and thoughts, and try to find out where this talent comes from, you won't be able to do it. You are locked out. It's in you somewhere, but you can never put your awareness on it and see it inside you. It's locked away from you. So that's an example of a locked domain of human consciousness.
Yeah, and the other side of this is kind of like, there's the Bible code and all, but the other side of this is we could not have known about reverse speech until we had technology that could record a conversation and then play it backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree and disagree at the same time with that. That's true. But on the other hand, when you get up in the high level of the Freemasons and other secret societies, and even when you get up into that level, when you're up in getting close to the Illuminati and the Dark Masters that we've talked about on Monday on the show, those secret societies have languages that are meant to be spoken in forward and reverse. So the dark secret societies actually have practices, and I know you know some of this, John, where they're meant to learn to speak in reverse. And Aleister Crowley wrote all about this. And so it may be the case that this is some kind of not only do we need technology to access it to find out that it's the case, that we need technology to find out that the average person is carrying it out. But on the other hand, if you are part of a secret society, you start to learn that some of our ordinary language is reverse speech, and you start to learn to talk in terms of that. So when you and I say things in ordinary conversation, John, it appears there are certain lost languages that are secret languages that are spoken in reverse. And English, our forward-speaking language, is a remnants